If you've ever said, I just don't have time to grow my business, this video is for you. I've helped over 100 students add an additional $10,000 to $20,000 per month in revenue to their video agency, not by having them work more hours, but by working smarter. And if you're already working with clients, but growth feels capped because you're hitting burnout, this is going to be the missing piece. Most video agency owners think the only way to grow is to put in more time, take on more projects, and grind harder. But the truth is, the more I scaled, the less I worked. Because if you're serious about building a real agency, your time should become more valuable, not less. You should be building systems that generate revenue without requiring you to be involved in every frame, every shoot, and every edit. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the exact strategy I used to escape the technician trap so that you can scale your business without burning out, hiring a massive team, or giving up creative control and maintaining great profit margins. I'm on a mission to help over 1,000 video agency owners break past the 20K a month ceiling and build real businesses that give them both financial and creative and time freedom. So there's a principle called the 80-20 rule that states that roughly 80% of effects come from 20% of causes. In business terms, 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. And this principle was discovered by an Italian economist named Vilfredo Pareto in 1896 when he noticed that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. And since then, the principle has been found to be true in almost every scenario, from wealth distribution to productivity. And for videographers like us, it means that 80% of your income comes from 20% of your clients, and 80% of your growth comes from 20% of your activities, and most importantly, 80% of your stress comes from 20% of your projects. And when I realized this, I stopped trying to do more and started focusing on doing the right things. I didn't need more time. I needed better results from the time I already had. And if you're a videographer stuck in the 5 to 10K per month range, constantly hustling, but never seeing real growth, this video shows you exactly how to break that cycle without working more hours and hitting burnout. So I use the 80-20 principle to go from 5K a month to 50,000 per month while still doing client work. And the first step is doing what I call a time audit. It's the single most important exercise you can do to scale your business without working more hours. It might sound tedious, honestly, it's pretty boring, it's not very fun, but you only have to do it once and the results it brings are so worth it. Now here's how it works. First, track everything you do for 1 week for 15 to 30-minute intervals. Every task, every client interaction, every edit, write it all down with the time spent. Next, 15-minute intervals. And next, we're gonna categorize each activity after you've filled this whole thing out for a whole week as either high value or low value. High value activities directly generate revenue or growth, and low value activities are necessary but don't directly contribute to your growth. They don't AKA make you more money. So here's a general idea of a schedule for, say, 4 days out of a whole week. We're then gonna identify our constraints. In any business, there's always one bottleneck that's limiting your growth. For most videographers, it's either lead generation, not enough clients, or fulfillment, AKA too much editing or filming, okay? So let's say low value tasks don't directly contribute to your growth. Like we said before, they're not actively making you more money. You're either just wasting time or you're fulfilling on client work or doing admin tasks that don't actively grow the business, okay? So that would be stuff like eating food you shouldn't be eating if you're not making more than 10K a month. Kidding, obviously. But let's say low value tasks, right? Editing, that's not making you more money. Okay, editing is not making you anything. Let's say this YouTube is literally just watching random videos that don't actually directly contribute to your growth. Okay, next we're gonna look at kind of mid-value tasks. So we talked about low value and high value. Let's go like mid-value, like, you're building client relationships, it's not actively making you more money, but you're delivering better results, improving the relationship, and ideally potentially increasing client lifetime value, or LTV, which means they'll keep paying you time over time and or they will refer you, okay? So it's like a mid-level. I'd say client shoot, that's something that's fairly mid-level, right? And then responding to emails, depending how you respond, maybe a mid-level task. Now let's look at high value tasks. This is the task that's actively going to grow your revenue and increase your skill sets so you can ultimately make more money as a business owner. Sales calls, 100%. When you're on a sales call, you are directly contributing to making more money, collecting more cash. That's huge. Learning and developing skill sets like YouTubing, how to run profitable ad campaigns. Sales calls, 100% right there. More YouTube, let's say we're watching trainings on, back up. We don't know what that YouTube is, but YouTubing, running ads and learning that stuff, right? Let's assume this YouTube is just wasting time. So we get the concept here, right? The red stuff is literally you just doing something that anybody else can do. We can hire out, somebody else can edit the videos. It's not directly making you more money, and that is time you're not gonna get back. Time. Your time is the only non-renewable resource. Once it's gone, it's gone. You're never getting that time back again. So money comes and goes though. You can hire other people out and you can get your time back. Now, after looking at this, we've identified our high value tasks and our low value tasks. We're going to identify our constraints. In any business, there's always one bottleneck that's limiting your growth. And for most videographers, it's either lead generation, not enough clients, or your sales, you're not good at sales, or fulfillment, meaning you're doing way too much editing and you don't have enough time to do the other high value tasks. And lastly, we're going to eliminate, automate, or delegate the low value tasks that are eating up all your time. So what does this mean? Eliminate is to get rid of. So any of the tasks that you're doing every single day that literally do not matter and bring you zero results, zero revenue, just stop. Just stop doing it, okay? As a freelancer, you're often wearing 15 different hats, but not all of those hats help you grow your business. I'm gonna give you some examples of what to eliminate right now. 1, endless gear research or YouTube videos that don't directly improve your paid work. 2, re-editing projects endlessly for perfection when the client was already happy and it was already gonna produce them results. 3, making content with no clear strategy, just posting because you think that's what you're supposed to do. Giving quotes to every random DM without qualifying them on a process or putting them through a direct sales process. Ask yourself, if I stopped doing this today, would my income suffer? If the answer is no, it's probably safe to eliminate. Automate. This means to get something to repeat on its own without you having to lift a finger. And this is where you start buying back your time. Automations help remove the mental drag of constantly doing the same tasks over and over again. And if you want to know how to determine what tasks you can automate, that's why it's important to have a good productized offer. Make sure you watch this video right here and I'll walk you through exactly how to do that. Once you're done, come back and finish this video. Now, here's some examples of what to automate. Lead capture plus follow-ups with tools like Go High Level, okay? Sending email automations, following up with people, qualifying them, and giving them more information to nurture so they're prepped and ready to go on the sales call with you. 2, calendar scheduling with links through Calendly. 3, client onboarding by using automated emails and intake forms. If it's repetitive and it follows a pattern, it can be automated, okay? And delegate means to pass on to somebody else. The work you're doing that needs to be done but can be done by anyone, delegate it. How do we determine what we can delegate and what we can't? Now, here's a big limiting belief that I see most videographers have, which is nobody can edit as good as I can, nobody can shoot as good as I can, or heck, nobody can write an email back as good as I can. This is why we need an automated process. The reason you believe that is because A, you've never tried it. It's just some limiting belief with zero context and zero backing because you don't have the experience necessary. 2, you don't know how to actually lead because you haven't, again, you just haven't done it before. And 3, again, you don't have a productized offer. Make sure you watch that video, okay? You're selling random custom projects to anyone that comes across your table. And because of that, you have to customize all the delivery for every one of your clients, which means you have to be the one in it. But when you hire someone and you create a standard operating procedure to complete the task, then you can bring someone on and just say, here's how you complete this task. I'll give you an example. It's a little advanced, but if you learn how to do this correctly, it will change your business forever and get you back so many more hours every single week of your time. Client onboarding as an example. Say you close a client, okay? The process to learn their offer, write scripts for them, go back and forth, see what works, what doesn't, know how to write good scripts that are going to convert in the first place in their ad campaigns. That's a whole process. We had people that were spending 10+ hours just writing scripts for their clients to run ads and hope that they perform, okay? Now we have it to a point where it's automated, so all of our students are spending 15 minutes instead of 10 hours. And here's how that goes. Firstly, your onboarding process needs to be dialed, okay? Once a client closes, you send them a very clear-cut onboarding packet via email. And part of that packet includes the link for them to book their onboarding call with you. It includes expectations video. It includes an onboarding/intake form for them to fill out, which is very in-depth. Takes the client about 30 minutes to fill it out. So once you close, collect payment, client then goes through their onboarding packet, which gets emailed to them within 15 minutes. They fill out the onboarding form, take 30 minutes. And this form tells you everything you need to know about their business, their avatar, their unique value proposition, how they sell, average order value, current marketing efforts that work, what didn't work in the past, and everything about their unique offering so you understand it to a T and what separates them from their competitors. Then what happens is once that form is submitted, we have an automation on the background using either Zapier and or Go High Level. Once the form is submitted, we take the submission and we put it into Poppy.ai. Now, again, this is getting pretty advanced. Poppy AI, look into it. An insane AI system. It's completely replaced ChatGPT for me, and it has the ability to write really good copy based on the inputs and the information we give it. So going back to it, once their onboarding form is submitted, we then take that form, we plug it into Poppy along with our modular ads framework, which is a long form training on exactly how to craft award-winning ad campaigns and how to structure those ads. And then we feed it hook templates, and copywriting secrets, okay? After giving all this information, we then feed it a fat prompt to be able to output scripts for our specific campaign that we're running for all of our clients, so that it's an award-winning ad right out the gate tailored to their unique offer. Once that output is done, it throws it into a Google Doc, and then we are notified as the videographer, as the agency, via Slack, our Slack notification, that our scripts are done for the client we just closed, and then we review it, polish it, takes 15 minutes, send off to the client for review. That is something that can be automated because it's the same process every single time for your clients after you productize your offer. And this alone gets you back 10 hours plus of your time with every client that you fulfill on. Now, here's why that's important, okay? Let's go a little in depth here. If you're working and you're writing scripts and doing all pre-production stuff manually, how long does that take per client? Could take anywhere between total time to fulfill. Let's say it's a 1-month contract and you're doing 5 deliverables and you're also doing pre-production scripting, all that stuff. Let's say it takes you 25 hours to fulfill. That includes script writing to make $3,000, okay? So right now, if you're spending 25 hours of your time to make $3,000, divide that by 25, you're $120 an hour. That's what your hourly worth is. Now, we take that process that is repeatable, we create automations around it so everything happens on its own with the scripts. We immediately get back 10 hours of our time. So now you only have to work 15 hours to make $3,000. Now our hourly worth is $200. And that is a very simple example, even though it's a little bit of an advanced tactic, of why A, it's important to productize your offer, and B, it's important for you to automate, not delegate. That's an automated task, not a delegated task. Automate a task that is repetitive so you don't have to do anything and you don't have to hire someone to do it for you. Now, an example of a task for you to delegate requires a little bit more high level and a little bit more nuance. And remember, these are things you only have to do once. You only have to set up the automation one time. You can put 5-10 hours into building this automation, which we have videos coming out soon on that stuff, so stay tuned. But you only have to put in 5 to 10 hours to create the automation, tops. Once it's done, it's done. And that is 10 hours of your time you're getting back for every single client you close in the future. And then we continue to create systems on everything moving forward. Now, that's how we automate certain tasks within our business and within our offer. Now, I know it's pretty advanced and there's a lot of stuff here, and this is YouTube after all, and I can't just give you everything because that just wouldn't be morally or ethically correct of me, especially for all the students that pay me a lot of money to train them one-on-one. So if you want to learn exactly how we can install systems like this for you, with you in your video agency, and you want to scale aggressively, just go ahead and click that link below in the description where we actually will hop on a call with you, give you an entire audit and assessment on your business, and give you a blueprint to scale and implement systems just like this. Now, that is how you automate tasks in the business. Now we go to delegation. What tasks do we need to delegate? This is where you finally stop being the bottleneck, okay? Start building a small team, even if it's just a virtual assistant or an editor at first, which are probably gonna be the first 2 hires you bring on. The kinds of things you're going to delegate are video editing, outreach, some script writing, and admin tasks like bookkeeping, file organization, or contract creation. Now, when I did this exercise, I realized I was spending 80% of my time on tasks that generated only 20% of my revenue. I was editing for hours when I could have outsourced it. I was chasing low-paying clients when I could only have focused on landing retainers. So I made 3 critical changes, okay? First, I fired my lowest paying clients. And let me tell you, that sucked. I felt like I was throwing away money. I was pushing it away. I was saying no to things, and it was the scariest feeling in the world. But it was crucial, and it was a very important step for you to make if I wanted to actually scale. So I found my lowest paying clients because, generally speaking too, the ones that don't pay you that much, don't really value you, they're a pain to work with, they micromanage. I could go on and on, okay? So I fired my lowest paying clients. Yes, I actually reduced my client load to make more money, okay? These were the clients who paid the least but demanded the most, just like I was saying before. Second, I interviewed my highest paying clients and asked them questions that would help me find more clients like them, okay? If you want to know how to grow your business, literally just talk to your clients. Ask your prospects, what do they like, what don't they like, how can you do better? And then find other people like those people. Third, I hired a virtual assistant to handle my email, scheduling, and basic editing tasks. This freed up 15 hours a week that I could dedicate to high value activities, sales, building skill sets, learning how to generate leads consistently, learning more automations on the back end that I can build more offers on. Now, fourth, I created a streamlined offer, a specific video package with a set price and clear deliverables that I could sell over and over again. And this eliminated the need for custom proposals and endless revisions. I could go from 2 call closes to a 1 call close. And the result Within 5 months, I went from $5,000 a month to $30,000 per month, and eventually to then $50,000 per month. And I was still shooting and editing the most important projects myself. The key insight is this: you don't need more time to scale your business. You need to focus on the 20% of activities that drive 80% of the results. You want to be in the position where you're not sitting back thinking, well, I want to stay hands-on, I want to maintain creative control, I want to edit and shoot everything, because that's going to keep you stuck in the exact spot right now that is bringing you the pain of not being able to spend more time with your family, struggling to pay bills day in and day out, not having the consistency that you want to get your time back. And I'll tell you right now, the worst thing in the world is having to do what you love to pay the bills instead of buying back your time so you have the flexibility and the freedom to choose what projects you want to take on because you're able to do so. And there is so much more fulfillment and enjoyment that comes from being able to do projects and jobs that you enjoy because you want to, than having to do it because you have to do it to pay the bills. Most videographers are afraid to let go of control. They think they need to do everything themselves to maintain quality, but the truth is, you can't grow if you are the bottleneck in your own business. When you apply the 80-20 principle and focus on high-value activities, you'll find that you can actually, believe it or not, deliver better work to fewer, higher-paying clients while making more money and working fewer hours. So let me tell you some specific ways you can implement the 80-20 rule in your business right now. Firstly, client selection. I want you to analyze your current client roster, if you have one, okay? Which 20% of clients bring you 80% of your revenue? Which ones cause 80% of your headaches? Make a plan to phase out the bottom 20% and find more clients like your top 20. Next, service offerings. Which of your services are most profitable? Not just for you, but for your clients. Which ones make you the most money and which ones deliver your clients the best results? For me, it was recurring content packages monthly for businesses rather than just one-off projects. This also brought more consistency, and we all like consistency. I focused on selling these packages and stopped offering services that took a lot of my time and they didn't pay well. Next, editing workflow, okay? Most videographers spend 80% of their time on editing. I kid you not. Like when we talk to people, we have so many calls all the time, and they always say most of their time is bottleneck because they're editing videos and they can't scale. The first thing you should be doing is hiring an editor right out the gate. Now, if you're not able to hire an editor, start by creating templates for your editing workflow. Preset color grades, sound effect libraries, motion graphic templates. This alone cut my editing time in half. And naturally, just doing it more, I was able to get faster in general. And I can, somehow it's like riding a bike. I can still edit videos wicked fast. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how quick I edit, it's still not a high value activity for me. Next up is marketing channels. Which marketing efforts bring you the most clients? For me, it was top of funnel video ads and Instagram organic. I stopped wasting time on LinkedIn outreach or focusing on making my website look perfect, and I focused entirely on these two channels. And believe it or not, my website literally accounted for maybe 5% of my revenue between Google SEO and just organic, people finding me organically. And so because that only accounted for maybe 5% of my revenue, I didn't even worry about it. And it's actually a misconception a lot of businesses in general, especially videographers, make, is they're like, how many channels can I get? Because that'll improve my likelihood for landing more clients. Let me do LinkedIn. Now let me do cold email. Now let me go to as many networking events as I can. Now let me run ads. Now let me do Google SEO or PPC, pay-per-click. And at the end of the day, when you spread your resources, you never make any of them work really well. And it's actually just a waste of time and waste of money. So focus on the one channel that's gonna produce the best results, and then literally just ride that till you get to $1 million a year. Trust me, okay? Next, team building. Instead of hiring full-time employees, start with contractors. You shouldn't be thinking about employees until you're doing $50K a month, bottom line, on the low end. Start with contractors who specialize in the tasks that you want to delegate. Find an editor who's faster than you, a virtual assistant who handles admin, and then later a salesperson who closes deals. But again, you're not even going to worry about a sales rep or a closer until you're doing minimum $50,000 to $60,000 months. Next, learning focus. Stop trying to master every aspect of video production. You got to focus. Like seriously, stop spending all your time in full-time filmmaker and watching 3 hours of video trainings per day on how to get perfect lighting, how to get the best video setup. Real quick, I love you, Parker. I love full-time filmmaking. You guys are amazing. But there comes a level where the more you learn, you already have the basic understanding of how to make great videos. You continuing to learn how to perfect the color grading, learning the nodes in DaVinci, and learning like all these different things and like the perfect light setup and like all the different 5 types of lighting. You got Rembrandt, you got like beauty lighting. There comes a point where, listen, you know how to make cool looking videos, man. Now you got to focus on copywriting. Now you got to focus on direct response marketing. Now you got to focus on KPIs and paid ads. So focus on not mastering every single aspect of video production, but once you have that baseline, then focus on the 20% of the skills that make the biggest difference in your specific niche. High ticket sales, lead generation, direct response marketing, fulfillment, automations, hiring, all that good stuff. The best part about the 80-20 principle is that you can apply it again and again to the same thing. So once you've identified the 20% of activities that drive 80% of the results, you can apply the principle again to that 20% and then find the vital few actions that really move the needle. I remember actually listening to one of my mentors, and one of the biggest things that they said that really stuck with me for a long time is, you think that you have a to-do list of 300 things that you got to knock out within the next week or two. In reality, 100% of the time, there's only 3 or 4 things that you actually have to do. The rest is just busy work. And I let that sink in. It totally changed how we operate in the business. And we focused our time and attention on the needle moving tasks, and we ignored the rest. So if you're a video agency owner who's stalled at 10K per month, remember, you don't need more time. You don't need better gear. You don't need to even be a better videographer. You just gotta focus on the 20% of activities that drive 80% of your results. So start by doing a time audit this week. Track everything. Identify your high value and your low value activities and make a plan to eliminate, automate, or delegate all your low value tasks, okay? But for this system to work, you need to know how to consistently get high paying clients who actually value your work in the first place and who really need your services to solve their specific problem. And that's why in my next video, I'm gonna show you the exact client acquisition strategy that took me to consistent $50,000 months. So click that video, I'll see you there.